Here's a quick little overview of the work site so far. I was just out here putting some stuff away, but this is how far we've gotten. You can see there's four rows of newer bags, and those bags were done in the past, I don't know, few weeks or whatever. We did 2 rows, and we did another 2 rows another day. It's usually about the limit of what we can do is 2 rows. With only two of us, it's not that easy. Those 4 rows actually take, I have to buy the sand because we have no sand on our soil here. So it's like a half ton, but this was a little over full. So maybe it was like, I don't know, maybe 1,200 pounds, 1,300 pounds. And so I've been buying those. So you figure for every 4 rows, there's probably 16 rows here, so that's 4 trucks of sand plus the outer stucco takes some sand too, so maybe even 5 trucks of sand at $20 a ton. So I'm buying like a little over a half ton, so I think last time it was like $14, $15. So it's not that expensive. These bags, I bought 300 bags, but I bought them separately. Like if I would have bought them together, it would have been cheaper. But I ended up buying like 100 and then buying another 100 and then another 100. So I paid retail. They were like $30 a pop. So I'm like maybe 100 into there. I don't know if I had this wood or if I bought this wood. I definitely bought that chicken wire. I bought the cement. I know you can't see it, but there's a cement block pour under there. I had to buy this barbed wire. I would say I'm probably maybe $350 to $400 into this. Probably be 5 by the time it's all done with the rebar and stuff, and the rest of the cement, maybe even more. But I mean that shed over there, probably 900 because I had to build. I mean the shed itself I think was like 6 or 7, and then I had to build the platform that it's on out of wood and buy all the cinder blocks and shit. I'm probably close to 900 on that. These pallets, I got these free off Craigslist. I've just kind of stacked them up here to make like a bullshit scaffolding so we can kind of get up higher because it's hard to lift the buckets full of dirt. In a different video, I'll show you the process that we're using, but right now it's 50% sand, and then over here is our clay pile, and this is all clay that came from digging this out because I don't know if you can see it, but there's definitely, if I look at it like this, it's over on this part here, it's underground by about 3 to, I think towards the back it's almost 4, up to like this row, 4 rows or 5 rows underground. When I walk around the back, you see there's less bags. So those underground bags, they're all filled with stone. Just like the inside here is filled with stone. I'll show you the pictures of our initial excavation. And I say excavation, but we did it with shovels. There's no fucking excavator. So yeah, this is our clay pile. We're kind of running out of clay. I might have to actually dig away some topsoil somewhere else to get down to clay. The land here is all clay. It's like thick with clay with maybe like 6 to 8 inches of topsoil on top of it. So clay is not a problem. It's the sand that we have to go out and buy. But you see I have this bullshit arch here. Bent it with rebar. Put some chicken wire over it to bond with the plaster later. We did these yesterday and they were a little wet, so I'm leaving them out to dry. But I'm going to cover them up like later tonight or maybe tomorrow, just to keep the sun off of them. That's why some of these are painted green. Yeah, I don't know. Aside from that, I figure if we do 2 rows a day, probably 3 more days of doing 2 rows, and then a day of just doing 1 row, or possibly 2, and then we have to put the bond beam and put the roof in place. So we'll see. Just a quick update. And all this clutter that you see here is because I'm kind of putting stuff away, so I like to throw it all in here. And then I put this black tarp over it, and it just keeps the water off shit. This right here is a screen that we use to filter the clay to get the rocks out.